Doing too. Thank you for clicking and tapping the video. Really appreciate it. Today I'm gonna talk about Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Somebody asked that question on TikTok, so I'm gonna try to answer. But I'm gonna go through these verses right here, different versions of the Bible, so you can understand like a little bit better. And then NIV it says, "Do not envy the violent of choosing any of their ways." New Living Translation says, "Do not envy violent people or copy their ways." I like that one a lot. ESV says, "Do not envy a man of violence and do not choose any of his ways." King James Version says, "Do not envy thou not the oppressor." It's the same thing he's talking about, or choose none of his ways. New King James Version it says, "Do not envy the oppressor or choose none of his ways." New American Standard Bible it says, "Do not envy a violent person and do not choose any of his ways." Whatever any version there is, it's talking about the same thing. And this verse requires an exposition of the verse. You have to expound on it. There's one verse and that's it. There's so much to draw out. It's exegesis. It's like you're getting a bucket, right, and you're going to a well and you're drawing out water. Over and over again, you're drawing out water. Those of you who grew up like that, with a well water, that's awesome. You get water for free, because God gave it to you. But anyways, this is a Bible study altogether. It just it's really it's a broader sense. But to put it in a nutshell, do not envy people who cut corners, okay, or cheat throughout their life, by quickly and easily gaining wealth, power, prestige, and fame by deception, fraud activities, exploitation, and taking advantage of weak and vulnerable people. Okay, God doesn't want us to be like that. You understand now? It's making sense now, huh? God doesn't want us to envy them or be like them. We don't want to be like them at all. No, you don't want to do that at all. You want to be honest and truthful. What you do in your life. You want to work with your own two hands. Okay, and continuing, whether in a business, a career, in a culture, or in a personal life. Okay, you have to be real. God sees everything. That's what I'm gonna get to right now. Okay, why? Because God sees our heart like a glass house. Okay, He knows everything we do. He knows the intentions of our heart. And you don't want to be like, you don't want to envy those people, okay, that do that. God sees the intention of our heart, whether good or bad. Okay, we read in Jeremiah 17:9 verse 10. It says, "The heart is deceitful, beyond cure, for understanding. Idolaters search the heart, and reward a man according to his doing." So you don't want to do those bad things those envious people do, right? The ones you like probably envy. That want to go through, you want to get through life, you release it like that, you want to do things, online and all that. No, you don't want to do that. Psalms 139, verse 23-24, we were right there. King David's asking God, search my heart, see if there's any wicked way in me. You know me, and see it to lead me to everlasting. So we have to do that. We have to check our heart every day, everywhere before God, okay? And I don't know where you are right now with the Lord, but He already sees everything. We read in Hebrews chapter 4, verse 13, that we're naked before God, and we have to give an account what we do in our lives, okay? That's what I'm going to get to right now. That's the third part. And He is recording everything in heaven, okay, for the great white throne judgment. Okay, for us, if you're born into Christian religion right now, that's gone. Your past sins, what you did in your past, present, and future sins, that's gone. But once you go through the bema seat of Christ, the judgment seat of Christ, He's going to reward you what you've done in your Christian life, okay? And whether what you did good or bad, the bad things you did, that weren't valuable, that didn't last for eternity, you're going to burn out. They're going to burn to ashes, like wood, hay, and stubble. But those things you did for God, that but for eternity, they're going to remain. That's going to be a reward. Okay, so continuing. At the white throne judgment, the people, the ones that denied Jesus Christ throughout their lifetime, or on the Old Testament, that didn't believe in God, they're going to be judged for everything they did in their life, okay? And this is very sad. And if their name's not found in the book of life, they'll be cast in the lake of fire, fire and brimstone. But continuing, where was I at? Matthew chapter 12, verse 35-37, right there. That every word that comes to your mouth, you have to be careful what you say. God's going to judge you for that, okay? Well, and then you're going to be innocent or guilty before Him, okay? What does it say? What the cops tell you? You have the right to remain silent, right? That's what they tell you, right, before they catch you. But anyways, we're accountable before God. what we do in our lives, okay? So we have to be careful what we do, okay? Because God's taking account of everything. So that's what I say today. God bless you.